Humans are not inherently good. They are inherently self-interested. This single dark truth, understood ruthlessly, makes you philosophically invincible. Not because it makes you cynical, but because it frees you from the naive expectations that leave most people perpetually disappointed, exploited, and confused about why integrity doesn't protect them, and kindness doesn't get reciprocated. Right now, while you're reading this, you're probably operating under beautiful lies about human nature. People are basically good. Treat others well, and they'll treat you well. Honesty is the best policy. Good intentions matter. These aren't truths. They're comfortable fictions that serve systems benefiting from your predictability. Machiavelli didn't teach evil. He taught reality. And reality, observed clearly without moral filtering, reveals patterns about human behavior that, once understood, make you strategically untouchable. Understanding human nature with philosophical clarity is not cynicism. It's strategic realism. Machiavelli didn't advocate for cruelty or immorality. He documented how power actually operates versus how moralists claim it should operate. He observed Renaissance Florence and Italian city-states where beautiful ideals collided with brutal reality, and reality won every time. Those who understood human nature as it is survived and thrived. Those who expected humanity to be what it should be were destroyed. This distinction remains relevant 500 years later because human nature hasn't changed, only the context in which it operates. I am Niccolò Machiavelli. I lived in Renaissance Florence during the late 1400s and early 1500s, an era of constant warfare, shifting alliances, and brutal political competition. I served the Florentine Republic, observing how power was gained, maintained, and lost. I watched idealistic rulers destroyed by their naivety, and ruthless ones thrive through strategic clarity about human nature. When the Medici family returned to power, I was imprisoned, tortured, and exiled. In that exile, I wrote The Prince, not as philosophical abstraction, but as distilled observation of how humans actually behave under pressure. What I documented wasn't evil. It was pattern recognition. Humans, when resources are scarce and survival is contested, behave in predictable ways that violate every moral teaching but confirm observable reality. These patterns persist across centuries because human nature is remarkably stable. Modern psychology confirms what I observed. Humans are loss-averse, status-seeking, reputation-managing, coalition-forming, self-interested actors who occasionally cooperate when it serves individual interest. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius in his Meditations, understood similar truths from different angles. Where I focused on political strategy, Marcus focused on internal resilience against external chaos. But we converged on core insight, expecting humans to behave according to ideals rather than self-interest is path to suffering. Marcus taught, begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall be meeting with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. Not pessimism, preparation based on accurate human nature assessment. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I see humans clearly. I expect reality, not ideals. 1. Virtù over virtue. Effectiveness trumps morality. The first law is virtù over virtue, understanding that effectiveness matters more than moral purity in competitive environments. Virtù, strategic capability, produces results. Virtue, moral goodness, produces approval from those who aren't competing. In chapter 15 of The Prince, I stated, "It is necessary for a prince wishing to hold his own to know how to do wrong, and to make use of it or not according to necessity." This isn't advocating immorality. It's recognizing that moral purity without strategic capability leaves you defenseless against those who prioritize effectiveness. You can be virtuous and destroyed, or possess virtù and survive. Preferably both, but when forced to choose, effectiveness ensures survival, while purity guarantees defeat. Modern application. Two colleagues compete for promotion. First prioritizes being good person. Never political, always honest, ethically pure. Second prioritizes effectiveness. Builds strategic alliances, manages perceptions, deploys tactics that aren't unethical, but aren't purely moral either. Who gets promoted? The effective one. Not because organizations reward immorality, but because they reward results, and results often require strategic actions pure moralists refuse. This creates uncomfortable choice. Maintain moral purity and accept strategic disadvantage, or develop virtù while maintaining ethical flaw beneath which you won't descend. Most people choose purity and wonder why less moral competitors advance. Strategically wise people develop effectiveness while maintaining chosen ethical boundaries. They know how to do wrong, but choose when to deploy it versus when moral action serves better. The practical wisdom. Develop strategic capability, virtù, as priority. Maintain moral framework as guide. But understand that in competitive environments, capability without morality is more effective than morality without capability. You need both, but if building only one, build effectiveness first. I want you to drop this affirmation. I prioritize effectiveness. I refuse naive purity. 2. Fortune favors preparedness. Not hope, the second law, is fortune favors preparedness. Understanding that luck is intersection of preparation and opportunity, not random gift from universe. In chapter 25 I wrote, "Fortune is the arbiter of half the things we do, leaving the other half or so to be controlled by ourselves. Hope is not strategy. Preparation is. This destroys beautiful lie that things will work out, or good things come to those who wait. No, good things come to those who prepare ruthlessly for opportunities that appear random but are predictable in pattern, if not timing. Fortune favors no one. It creates opportunities. Prepared people exploit them. Unprepared people call it luck when others succeed. Modern application. Two people want career advancement. First hopes their good work will be noticed and rewarded. Second prepares strategically. Builds skills before they're needed. Cultivates relationships before favors are required. Positions themselves for opportunities before they open. When opportunity appears, budget for new role, executive seeking talent, industry shift. Who captures it? The prepared one. First person calls it luck. Second person calls it preparation meeting opportunity. The strategic error most people make is waiting for fortune to favor them while doing nothing to position themselves for when opportunity appears. They hope market turns in their favor. They wish for lucky break. They want talent to be discovered. All passive. Fortune doesn't reward passivity. It rewards those who built capability, positioned strategically, and maintained readiness to exploit opportunity the moment it appears. Marcus Aurelius taught similar truth. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, not through hope, but through prepared response to obstacle, transformed into advantage. Obstacle becomes opportunity only for those prepared to exploit it. The practical wisdom: stop hoping fortune favours you. Start preparing so ruthlessly that when opportunity appears, and it will, you're only person positioned to exploit it. Your luck is preparation others refuse to invest in. I want you to drop this affirmation: I prepare ruthlessly. Fortune serves the ready. 3. Humans judge results, not intentions. The third law is humans judge by results, not intentions, understanding that your noble intentions mean nothing if outcomes are poor, while successful outcomes justify almost any method. In chapter 18 I wrote, "Let a prince have the credit of conquering and holding his state. The means will always be considered honest and praised by everyone." This destroys comforting lie that it's the thought that counts, or I meant well. No, results count. Intentions are invisible. Only outcomes are judged. You can intend brilliantly while failing miserably, and you'll be condemned. You can intend questionably while succeeding dramatically, and you'll be celebrated. Humans judge visible results, not invisible intentions. Modern application. 2 managers implement organizational changes. First has beautiful intentions, wants to create collaborative culture, values everyone's input, designs elegant process respecting all stakeholders. Implementation fails, productivity drops, people complain, judged harshly despite noble intentions. Second has pragmatic intentions, wants results, designs efficient process, implements ruthlessly. Productivity increases, company succeeds. Judged positively despite methods some found harsh. Results justified approach. Intentions were irrelevant to judgment. This creates strategic clarity. If you're going to be judged by results regardless, optimize for results. Your intentions matter to your conscience, but outcomes matter to your reputation and advancement. Better to succeed with questionable intentions than fail with noble ones. Because judgment won't distinguish. People see what happened, not why you tried. The uncomfortable truth: you can be kindest, most well-intentioned person who fails, and you'll be judged more harshly than ruthless person who succeeds. This isn't fair. This is observable reality about how humans assign praise and blame. They look at outcomes and work backward to assume intentions matched results. The practical wisdom: maintain good intentions for your own ethical grounding, but optimize ruthlessly for results, because that's what determines how you're judged, remembered, and rewarded. Your intentions comfort you privately. Your results determine everything publicly. I want you to drop this affirmation: I optimize for results. Intentions satisfy only me. 4. Fear is more reliable than love. The fourth law is fear is more reliable than love. Understanding that people's affection is fickle and conditional, but their fear is stable and strategic. In chapter 17 I asked, is it better to be loved than feared, or feared than loved? My answer: it may be answered that one should wish to be both, but because it is difficult to unite them in one person, it is much safer to be feared than loved. This destroys romantic notion that winning people's affection ensures loyalty. Love is emotional, therefore unstable. People love you today, abandon you tomorrow when it serves them. Fear, not terror, but respect mixed with consequences for betrayal, is calculated, therefore stable. People who fear consequences of betraying you remain loyal even when affection fades. Modern application. 2 leaders manage teams. First tries to be loved, accommodates everyone, avoids difficult decisions, seeks constant approval. Team likes them personally, but doesn't respect authority. When pressure arrives, team disregards leader's direction because there are no consequences. Second earns respect mixed with healthy fear. Clear expectations, consistent consequences for failures, fair but firm. Team may not love them personally, but follows direction, because consequences of not doing so are known and reliable. This isn't advocating cruelty. It's recognizing that affection without accountability creates unstable authority that collapses under pressure. Respect combined with known consequences creates stable authority that persists through difficulty. Better to be respected and slightly feared than loved and ignored. The nuance. Ideal is both loved and feared. But if choosing, choose feared, respected with consequences, over loved, liked without accountability. Love without fear invites betrayal when convenient. Fear without love is stable but isolated. Respect with calibrated consequences is optimal. The practical wisdom. Build respect through competence and consistency. Establish clear consequences for boundary violations. Maintain these consequences reliably. This creates healthy fear, respect for consequences, rather than terror. Fear of arbitrary cruelty. People who respect your boundaries and fear violating them remain loyal far more reliably than people who merely like you. I want you to drop this affirmation. I earn respect through consequences, not love through accommodation. 5. Gratitude has short memory. The fifth law is gratitude has short memory. Understanding that benefits you provide others are quickly forgotten, while harms are remembered indefinitely. Don't expect sustained loyalty based on past favors. Humans discount past benefits rapidly, while maintaining permanent ledger of grievances. I observed, benefits should be conferred gradually, so that the savor of them may last longer, not because humans are evil, but because psychological adaptation means that extraordinary becomes ordinary quickly. The favor that created intense gratitude last month is forgotten baseline this month. But the single offense from years ago remains vivid. Modern application. You help colleague repeatedly. Introductions, advice, covering their work. Gratitude exists initially, but fades quickly as help becomes expected. You refuse help once when genuinely unable. That refusal is remembered far longer than accumulated favors. Gratitude discounts while resentment persists. This isn't fair. This is how human memory weights positive versus negative. This creates strategic implication. Don't build strategies assuming gratitude will ensure loyalty. It won't. Provide benefits in measured doses that maintain freshness rather than becoming expected baseline. Avoid creating grievances because they persist far beyond gratitude's expiration. The psychological mechanism. Humans adapt to benefits quickly, hedonic adaptation, but maintain vigilance for threats indefinitely. Negativity bias. The promotion you gave them felt amazing initially. Now it's baseline expectation. The criticism you offered once still stings years later. Not because they're ungrateful, but because human psychology weights losses higher than equivalent gains. The practical wisdom. Provide benefits strategically in ways that maintain freshness and gratitude. Never assume past favors ensure future loyalty. Gratitude expires, self-interest persists. Avoid creating resentments because they outlast all gratitude. Build loyalty through ongoing mutual benefit, not accumulated past favors expected to compound indefinitely. I want you to drop this affirmation. I expect no gratitude, I create ongoing mutual benefit. 6. People resist change until forced. The sixth law is humans resist change until forced, understanding that people prefer familiar suffering to uncertain improvement. Voluntary change is rare. Forced change is common. In Chapter 6 I noted, there is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success than to take the lead in the introduction of a new order of things. This destroys assumption that people embrace beneficial change rationally. They don't. They resist change reflexively, because uncertainty feels dangerous even when current state is unsatisfactory. Change requires leaving known, even if bad for unknown, even if potentially better. Most humans choose familiar bad over uncertain good. Modern application. Organization needs restructuring. Leadership presents logical case for why change benefits everyone. Rational people would embrace it, but people resist fiercely, not because change is bad, but because it's change. They prefer known dysfunction to uncertain improvement. Change happens only when pain of current state exceeds fear of change, which means suffering must intensify before change occurs. This creates strategic insight. If you're introducing change, don't expect rational evaluation. Expect resistance. Make current state sufficiently uncomfortable that change becomes less frightening than status quo, or frame change as so inevitable that resistance is futile, making acceptance easier than fighting. Voluntary change through pure reason rarely succeeds. Change through making alternatives worse is reliable. Marcus Aurelius understood similar truth. The impediment to action advances action. Sometimes obstacle, resistance to change, must be forced before movement occurs. People don't change because they should. They change because not changing became more painful than changing. The practical wisdom. When implementing change, don't rely on rational persuasion alone. Create conditions where change is less painful than stasis. Make current state sufficiently uncomfortable, or make change seem inevitable. Humans don't embrace change. They surrender to it when alternatives are worse. I want you to drop this affirmation. I force change strategically. Reason alone fails. 7. Appearances dominate truth. The seventh law is appearances dominate truth. Understanding that perception matters more than reality in human judgment. How things appear shapes belief more powerfully than how things actually are. In Chapter 18 I stated, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. This destroys naive belief that truth always prevails. It doesn't. Appearance prevails. Most people judge based on surface perception, not deep investigation. You can be genuinely capable, but appear incompetent. You'll be treated as incompetent. You can be genuinely incompetent, but appear capable. You'll be treated as capable. Appearance is reality for most practical purposes. Modern application. Two professionals with equal capability. First is genuinely skilled but presents poorly. Disorganized communication, modest self-presentation, doesn't manage perceptions. Second is equally skilled but presents excellently. Clear communication, confident self-presentation, actively manages how they're perceived. Who advances faster? The one who appears more capable, regardless of whether actual capability differs. Perception drives opportunity more than hidden reality. This creates uncomfortable implication. Managing appearance is not optional for success. It's requirement. Your actual capability matters, but only if perceived. Invisible capability is useless. Visible capability, even if slightly less than actual, creates opportunities that hidden excellence never receives. The strategic application: develop genuine capability. Foundation: then deliberately manage how that capability is perceived. Multiplier: don't wait for capability to be discovered. Make it visible through strategic presentation, clear communication, and deliberate perception management. Truth matters, but appearance determines which truths get attention. The practical wisdom: reality is filtered through perception. Most people judge appearance. Few investigate deeply enough to find truth beneath. Therefore, managing appearance isn't shallow. It's strategic necessity. Develop substance, then ensure substance is visible through managed appearance. Otherwise, substance remains invisible and therefore irrelevant. I want you to drop this affirmation: I manage appearance ruthlessly. Perception is reality. You are no longer someone who expects humanity to be what it should be. You're not someone who assumes good intentions ensure good treatment. You're not someone who hopes fortune will favor you without preparation. You're not someone who prioritizes pure morality over strategic effectiveness. You're not someone who expects gratitude to ensure loyalty or truth to prevail over appearance. You are someone who navigates humanity as it is, ruthlessly wise, strategically protected, who understands that virtù, effectiveness, matters more than virtue, purity, in competitive environments, who prepares for fortune rather than hoping for luck, who optimizes for results knowing intentions are invisible, who builds respect through consequences rather than affection through accommodation, who creates ongoing mutual benefit rather than expecting expired gratitude, who forces change strategically rather than reasoning indefinitely, who manages appearance because perception dominates truth. This philosophical clarity doesn't make you cynical. It makes you invulnerable to the disappointments that destroy those expecting humans to behave according to ideals rather than self-interest. You see clearly. You expect nothing beyond what human nature reliably provides. You are therefore disappointed by nothing, because your expectations align with observable reality rather than beautiful fictions. Machiavelli didn't teach evil. He taught navigation of human reality as it exists rather than as moralists wish it existed. Marcus Aurelius taught similar wisdom. Expect interference, ingratitude, selfishness, not as pessimism, but as accurate baseline allowing strategic response rather than naive shock. Modern psychology confirms these observations. Humans are self-interested, loss-averse, appearance-focused, change-resistant, gratitude-limited, result-judging, fear-motivated actors. Not because they're evil, but because evolution optimized for survival, not nobility. Understanding these laws makes you philosophically ruthless, operating with clarity about human nature that naive idealists never develop. You're not cruel. You're realistic. You're not immoral. You're strategically sophisticated about when morality serves and when effectiveness matters more. You're not cynical. You're accurately calibrated to human behavior patterns that persist across centuries. Drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I see humans clearly. I expect nothing. I am disappointed by nothing. I am philosophically ruthless. Subscribe to this channel because we're teaching philosophical truths that remain relevant 500 years after they were documented. Like this video if you're ready to stop expecting humanity to be what it should be and start navigating it as it is. Share it with someone who needs philosophical armor against naive expectations. Machiavelli saw truth that destroys comfortable lies. Today, you became philosophically ruthless through that same clarity.